Okay, welcome to Beginner's Yoga with David, the last one for a while. Here we go. We'll start class in the usual manner, seated on a block. We also have another block close by and a strap. Don't know if we're going to use them this evening. Anyway, they're there if we need them. Seated on a block. Sukhasana, easy pose, cross-legged. I'm facing the long side of the mat and my front shin is parallel to the long side of the mat. Ankles strongly flexed, feet under knees. Just going to lean to the left and move that buttocks flesh out of the way, lean to the right. Get a strong connection with those sit bones onto the block. Central on the block, root down. Root down, lift the torso out of the pelvis. Roll the shoulders up and back. Bring the chin in, back slightly to grow the back of the neck long. Feel the lift through the top of the head. Elbows gently resting by the side, palms flat on the thighs. We'll just close our eyes and have a look around at where we're at right now. Where is there tension? Where's our breath? Notice these things. How is our mind? Is our mind able to go and notice these things easily, or is it distracted? Now we've noticed these things, we'll build our breath. Long, slow inhales. Pause at the top of the inhale. Long, slow exhale. Pausing at the bottom of the exhale. Trying to draw that breath out long and equally, so it doesn't rush out at the start of the exhale and rush in at the start of the inhale. It's a long, steady, constant stream. Notice if there's any tight spots in it. Where do they occur? Are they on the inhale, on the exhale, at the beginning, at the end? Count the inhale and count the exhale. Notice where you are and try to add one to the count every breath by increasing the time it takes you to breathe rather than the speed of the count. Fill the lungs without straining. Pause without gasping. Empty the lungs without straining. Now we've been focusing on our breath for a little while, we'll just take our attention back to our posture. Where are we? Have we slouched? Let's check that pelvic tilt. Has it rocked forward or backwards? Often backwards. Bring it up to vertical. That slight concavity in the lower spine. Lifting the torso out of the pelvis. Lifting the ribs away from the pelvis and the torso. Rolling the shoulders back and down. Relaxing the shoulders. Back of the neck long, slight lift through the top of the head. Three more rounds of breath from top to bottom. Try to make them the finest quality so far. Relax your jaw, relax your tongue. At the end of your next exhale, blink your eyes open. Find your block. We'll bring our block just outside our right hip. Let's start with a twist. Just outside the right hip. Tennis ball fingers, fingertips to the block. Right hand, tennis ball fingers to the block. Left palm facing down. Keep the shoulders facing forward. Bring the left palm outside the right knee. Keep the shoulders facing forward. We're going to push down into the right fingertips as we inhale, keeping the shoulders facing forwards. Inhale, reach the spine up, lift through the back of the head, keep the back of the neck long. And on the exhale, we rotate from the navel, keeping the hips straight. Bend the elbows. Let this come from your abdominal muscles right now. Just bend the elbows and let them go. Inhale, push into the back fingertips, pull the left ribs in. Stretch the spine long. This time we'll traction with the hands on the exhale. Push into the fingertips. Pull on the left palm. Traction round. Try to keep the head in line with the shoulders until the last breath, which is this one. Again, inhale, pushing with the fingertips, growing the spine long. Pull the right ribs in. Exhale. Open that right shoulder to the right. Turn the head to finish the pose without crunching the neck. Inhale, unwind it. Now we'll bring the block in front of us. Tennis ball fingertips, the imaginary tennis ball in our palm. We're walking our fingertips out while reaching back into our sit bones, moving the sternum forwards, keeping the back straight, trying to find that concavity in the lower back, tilting the pelvis forward on the block. And if we have it available to us, we can find perhaps the forehead coming to the block. Inhale, reach through the fingertips. Reach back into the sit bones. Exhale, stay there. Hold that position. Don't let yourself shrink back. Inhale, same again. Let the torso grow out of the pelvis. Let the back soften. Inhale, grow. Exhale, hold that growth. Don't shrink. Maybe you've softened and can take the block one lower, reaching into the fingertips as you reach back into the sit bones. Palms flat on the floor now. Pushing into the palms, lifting the forearms away, pulling the elbows together. 2 more rounds of breath. We're going to walk our fingertips back to bring ourselves up to seated. We're going to take the block over outside the left hip. We're going to switch the cross of our shins. Just take a little time to set up that Sukhasana again. I'm facing the long edge of my mat. Left shin parallel to the long edge. Feet strongly flexed, feet under knees. Here we go. So tennis ball fingers on the left hand while reaching down to the block. Palm, right arm out, palm down. Keep the shoulders facing forwards. Sit tall. Right palm comes to left knee without rotating to the left. Now we inhale, push into those left fingertips. Grow the spine long. Pull those left ribs in and use your abdominal muscles to rotate. Let the elbows bend to the side. We're rotating with our abs here. Let the head be in line with the shoulders. Second breath, push into the fingertips. Inhale, grow the spine long. Now we start to use the traction of those hands, push into the fingertips, roll the left shoulder open, round behind us to the left, pull on the right palm, let the right elbow come wide. On the exhale, keep that spine upright, pull those left ribs in. Final breath, inhale, grow long. It's a tight inhale because we're squeezing those lungs. Exhale, traction round, finish with a gaze, just a look with the head to the left, and then we'll unwind it, come back to the center, bring the block with us. Same thing again with this shin in front. Tennis ball fingers, walking out, sternum up, reaching forward, not rounding the back here, reaching the sit bones back, finding the block with the forehead. Inhale, reach into the fingertips, reach the sit bones back. Exhale, hold that length. Inhale, same again. Feel the ribs growing forwards down your thighs. They're brushing there. Feel the back flatten. Maybe it'll soften earlier. This time we've already instructed the back what to do. Inhale, reach into the fingertips. If you've come low, palms flat, lifting the forearms, pulling the elbows together. External rotation of the upper arms. This cue will come in downward dog in a minute. Reach back into the sit bones. Grow your fullest extent. One more breath. Okay, we'll walk our fingertips back. Okay, let's lose the blocks, just put them to the side. Keep them handy though. Come onto all fours, tabletop. So, knees under hips, knees hip width, wrists under shoulders, hands shoulder width. Spine straight. So we're pulling the navel in and slightly up. We're trying to get the head in line with the spine, neutral spine here. We're going to inhale in tabletop. Exhale, round the back. Push into the hands, bring the chin to the collarbones, push the tailbone forwards for cat pose on the exhale. Hold the navel strongly back. Inhale, back to tabletop. Exhale, relax the belly, push the belly towards the floor, lift the tailbone up and back, reach the sternum through the shoulders, look up. Pull the hands back towards the knees, push into the top of the feet. Exhale, back to tabletop. Inhale into cat, pushing into the hands, pushing into the tops of the feet. Chin to collarbone, tailbone forward, strongly rounding the back and pulling the navel in. Inhale, back to tabletop. Settling tabletop briefly. Exhale, cow, lift the tailbone up and back, pull the sternum through, push into the hands, look up, relax the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, back to tabletop. Exhale, cat, last one, strong push round the back, pull that tailbone, round the back. Inhale, back to tabletop. Exhale, drop the belly, look up. Pull the palms back to the knees, pull the sternum through, lift the hips up and back, exhale back to tabletop. Couple of alternate arm and leg raises here. 3 times. We'll go once on the right arm, left leg. Sorry, 3 times right arm, left leg, 3 times left arm, right leg, with the breath in your own time. Remember to keep the arm level with the ear and the foot level with the hips. Here we go. Inhale, reach into the fingertips. Reach into the right fingertips. Reach into the left heel. On the inhale, strong push. Exhale, controlled down to tabletop. Inhale, same again. Reaching through the fingertips, pushing through the heel, finding stability in that reach. Exhale, gently and controlled back to tabletop. Last one on the right side. Inhale, reaching into the fingertips, pushing into the left heel. Exhale, back to tabletop. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, tabletop. Inhale, right, left, fingertips right, heel. Reaching into the left fingertips, arm by the ear, foot hip height. Exhale, controlled back to tabletop. Snatch and moment in tabletop. Inhale. Repeat the second time, reaching into the fingertips, pushing into the right heel. Exhale, back to tabletop. Final one. Inhale, reach into the fingertips, push the right heel. Exhale, back to tabletop. Take the knees slightly wider than the hips, big toes together. Sit back onto your heels, sit bones on the heels. We're coming to child's pose. We've already stretched, so we're going to stretch into those hands. Palms down, forehead on the mat, lifting the forearms away from the mat, pulling the elbows in. We'll just take a couple of breaths here. Same cues, reach into the fingertips, reach the sit bones back, let those ribs come down the thighs. At the end of your next exhale, you're going to lift up and walk. Our hands across to the right, pick our ribs up, rest our right ribs on our right thigh and come back down. So we're squashing the right side of those ribs here. And now we're going to reach into the left fingertips strongly as we reach back into the left sit bones strongly and breathe into the left side ribs. Full breath, feel those intracostal muscles between your ribs stretching with that inhale. And at the top of your inhale, reach into those fingertips, reach that sit bone back, feel that stretch. Last one. Big left side stretch. Okay, when you've finished your exhale, walk the hands over to the left. Same thing, other side. We're going to put the left ribs onto the left thigh. Settle down onto them so we're squashing the left side lung, pushing the inhale into the right side. Now we reach into the right fingertips as we reach back with the right sit bone. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. At the top of that inhale, reach with the fingers, reach back with the sit bone. Feel that right side stretch. Exhale. Final round. At the end of your exhale, walk the hands back to center. Just re-establish the symmetry. We're coming to child's pose briefly, forehead on the mat, stretching into the fingertips, reaching the sit bones back to find our dimensions for downward facing dog. Ardha Mukha Svanasana. On the inhale, we'll come through tabletop, pushing into the palms, tucking the toes, lifting the hips up and back, staying on the tiptoes here for the first one of the evening. Lift the hips strongly up and back, push into the palms. We want the circumference of that palm down, the little finger mound as well as the thumb mound, as well as the heel of the hand. The finger pads are down too. Lift the forearms away from the ground, pull the elbows in, wrap those shoulder blades around the ribs towards the front. Find space in that upper back, shoulders away from the ears, head relaxed. Lift the outside hips up and back. push into the hands. And we'll bend the right knee and push into the left heel for a breath. Back on the tiptoes, bend the left knee, push into the right heel for a breath. All the while here we're pushing into the palms. Those other cues didn't go away, lifting the hips up and back. Back onto the tiptoes, bend the right knee, left heel back. Up on the tiptoes, bend the left knee, right heel back. Up on the tiptoes, this time we're going to reach back with both heels, any amount, as we lift the hips up and back. Top of the femur bones are pushing back. We're pushing our chest towards our thighs and letting our head relax. At the end of your next exhale, up on the tiptoes, look between the hands. Right foot steps forward, left foot steps forward, half rise, forward fold. Inhale, come up, reaching to the side of the room, seal the palms into Samastitihi. And here we are at the top of the mat. Ready for a couple of rounds of sun salutations. Okay, Tadasana. Big toes touching if your foot shape allows it. Otherwise, we're aiming to get the outside edges of the feet parallel and the big toes as close together as possible. Even weight distribution through the foot. Rock forward, feel the heel go light. Rock backwards, feel the balls of the feet go light. Now find the equilibrium in between those points. Lift the legs out of the ankles, lift the knees up by engaging the quads. Push the tops of the femur bones back, pull the buttocks in towards those femur bones which are pulling back. Pull the hip flexors in, suck them in. We're fully standing on the earth here, we're standing with intention. Lifting the torso out of the pelvis, pull the navel back and up, roll the shoulders up and back, pull the chin back to grow the back of the neck long, feel the pull through the top of the head, roll the arms open, inhale, reach to the side of the room, as you stretch through those fingertips on the inhale, seal the palms, look up, exhale. We're going to reverse that movement, opening the palms away from each other, turning the thumbs to face down, hinging at the hips on the exhale, keeping the back of the neck long, forward fold, inhale, half rise, fingertips to the mat, looking straight down, trying to find that concavity in your back, pulling the chest forwards through the shoulders. Exhale, plant the palms next to the feet, bottom low, right foot steps back, lunge, inhale here, come up onto the fingertips, see if we can take our fingertips off the mat, exhale, back down again, inhale, step back to plank, exhale, plank, inhale, plank again, exhale, drop the knees, chest comes between the hands, chin to floor, untuck the toes, low cobra, pull back on the palms, just use the back muscles to lift to the bottom of the rib cage, keeping the back of the neck long, looking down just in front of your fingertips. Exhale, back down, tuck the toes, one movement, pull those elbows in, pull the navel back, inhale, tabletop, keep that movement going as the hips go up and back, downward facing dog. Remember those cues I've given you twice already, but here we go again. Start with the palms pushing into the mat, even weight distribution through the circumference of the palm and the fingertips, lifting the forearms from the mat, pulling the elbows in, external rotation of the upper arms. Keep all that going while you lift the hips up and back, outer hips up and back, top of the femur bones push back. Chest is going towards thighs, head is relaxed. Weight into the heels, lift your toes perhaps, just to show that you can. 2 more breaths here. Lift the tailbone up and back. At the end of your next exhale, high on the tiptoes. Right foot steps forward, left foot steps forward, half rise. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach to the side of the room, come up with a straight back. Look up, sail the palms. Exhale through Samastiti. Open the palms. Inhale. Here we go again. Reach into the side of the room, sail the palms, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half rise. Pull that chest through. Exhale, plant the palms, left foot steps back. High lunge. Let's take 1 breath here. Take the fingers off the ground. Reach into that left knee to give strength to this pose. Try and get the ribs off the right thigh. Exhale, right foot steps back, plank. Push into the heels, lift the knees, look straight down. Inhale, plank. Exhale, knees to the mat. Chest comes between the hands. Uncurl the toes, pull back on the palms, low cobra. This is all in the back, pulling that sternum through, looking down, just in front of the mat, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, down we go. 1 movement again, tucking the toes, pulling the navel back to the spine, elbows in, inhale, push, through tabletop, lift the hips up and down. Downward facing dog. I've cued this many times. You can take over now. Give me your best downward facing dog for 5 breaths, please. At the end of your next exhale, look between the palms, left foot steps forward between the hands, right foot steps forward, half rise, sternum reaching forwards. Exhale, forward fold, lift the hip creases into that forward fold. Inhale, come up with a straight back, look up, sail the palms. Exhale, Samastiti. And here we are, back at the top of the mat, ready for some standing poses. 1 block required. I'm going to use 1 block and bring it with me when we swap sides. You can use 2 if you prefer. So we're going to face the long edge of the mat, fingertips at chest, step or jump, the feet wide. I can never jump far enough. My mentor Dawn adjusts me to here, which is where I can start to feel my hip flexors. And here is wrists over ankles, wrists over ankles. So here we are, sides of the feet parallel, facing the long edge of the mat. We're going to bend the left knee and turn the left leg from deep within that hip socket. So I'm going to get my right palm and use it to physically rub from the inside of my right thigh to the outside to tell my body what I want it to do. Externally rotate that leg. These are externally rotated poses. Now we've got that set up, we're ready for Trikonasana. We need to take care of the back leg. So we want to put our weight through that leg, engage that knee, push it back behind us, get the skin of the outside edge of that foot on the mat and keep it there. As we inhale, lifting up the right arm, left hand on hip, exhale, we're folding over at the hip to pick up the block. Going to start on the highest height here, pick up the block, push into the block. block is under shoulder. So I can push into that block, a line of energy coming up across those collarbones, which we're going to pick up in a minute, after I have tractioned on that block with my fingertips wrapped around it, pulling my spine long and rotating my right ribs forward, my left ribs back. Now I can bring the top hand up, maybe turn my head to look at it, trying to keep the neck in line with the spine. Remember that back foot. Keep the weight in the outer edge. Remember that external rotation of the front leg. Let's get that going. Pull that left hip under with that external rotation. Okay, now I'm going to turn this into Parsvakonasana. We're going to bend that front knee, bring my bottom down to bring the left thigh parallel, making sure this knee doesn't travel in front of the ankle. Just made a minor adjustment with that foot forwards. Now again, we're going to push into that block to rotate the chest down. Bring the hand overhead, palm facing down. The single line of energy from fingertips to the outside edge of that foot we've just been talking about. Push into the block to rotate. To look up, look under that arm. Reach into those fingertips. Look down for balance. We're going to come up into warrior two. So keep that leg bent, reach into the top arm, up we come. Warrior two, this is strong stuff. Relax those shoulders, come in deep, 2 more breaths here. Remember that back knee, engage the back leg, find the outer edge of that back foot. And straighten the leg, hands to hips, parallel the feet. Let's just check things out. How did that go? Feeling good on the right side. Need to bring the left up, don't we, to match. So let's move that block to outside where the left shin's going to stand. Same deal. Here we go. Let me just grab that. Strong stuff on a hot day. Here we go. Fingertips on chest, step or jump, then find the correct width stance because I can never jump far enough. Here we go. Ankles under wrists, shoulders relaxed, sides of the feet parallel. Same thing other side. Bend the left knee. Strong external rotation from deep within that hip socket. Use the left palm to remind our leg what we want it to do. Straighten that leg. Right hand comes to hip. Check where my block is. Now it's in the right spot. Find the outside edge of that back foot. Push this knee backwards. This back leg is engaged. We're trying to find equal weight. Inhale. Left hand reaching up, keeping that left side body long as we hinge at the hip to pick up the block. Fingers are wrapped around the block so I can traction my spine that way in the direction of the top of my head. I'm pushing down into the block to traction my lower ribs forward and my upper ribs back, bringing the top arm up. I think I can, maybe manage a little lower now. Now, here we are in the shape. Let's check out our foundations again. Back foot, is that outside edge down? Knee, is that engaged? External rotation of the front leg. Let's get that going. Push that left hip forwards underneath the right hip. Tractioning on the block. Maybe we're going to look up. If we're looking up, the right earlobe is heavy. Stretch across those collarbones. Lift through the fingertips, armpit and fingertips, reaching skyward. I'm going to turn this into Parsvakonasana. Bending the knee, bringing the arm into a single line of energy. up that right side now. Find the shape, find the outside edge of the right foot. Bring those hips low. Get that left thigh parallel. Then again, push into the block. Rotate to look under that arm. Then reach into the fingertips. Reach into the back foot. Feel those intracostal muscles again. Now we're going to look down, bring the top arm up, straight into a warrior two for 2 more breaths, relaxing those shoulders, keeping that knee tracking in front, down the middle of that front foot. And bend the knee, hands to hips, parallel the feet. I didn't cue this last time, but step or jump back to the center of the mat. Whew. Here we go. Right. Apologies, I really need to keep wetting my whistle today. Right. So I'd like to ask A with blocks. The blocks are going to be under my shoulders. They're going to be about here. I think we'll see how that goes. Here we are. Great. Same deal. Here we go. You know the drill, guys. Same entry, same cue. Parallel the sides of the feet. If anything, the toes are slightly coming in, pointing in. We've got the ankles under the wrists. We're going to firm these hip flexors. Try this crease here where our thigh joins our torso. We're going to try and make that deeper by engaging those muscles, pulling those in. And we're going to inhale, show the ceiling to our sternum as we lean back, and exhale, keep the length in that front body, hinge at the hip, and pick up those blocks under the shoulders. Again, fingers wrapped around the front of the block, looking straight down, trying to keep the concavity in that back, keeping the engagement with the legs, pulling those hip flexors in, lifting the knees, inhale, grow the spine long, exhale, move the sternum through the shoulders. Look straight down. This is about growing the spine, lifting those hip creases. If we can go lower, we're going to lower the blocks. Keeping the hands under the shoulders. As our body gives us a bit of room, we'll take it. Thank you very much, body. Lifting the hip creases, keeping the engagement in the legs, finding the outside left of the left heel, the outside right of the right heel, without losing the inside left of the left heel. Sorry, the inside left of the right heel, the inside right of the left heel. I think I might have fluffed that. Trying to get the heel flat on the floor. If you can come lower, we're lifting at the hip creases. The hands are moving back between our feet, fingers pointing in the same direction as the toes. Pull the elbows in so the arms are straight out of the mat, lifting at the hip creases, head long. Maybe you can rest your head, the crown of your head on the floor, or maybe a block. The crown of the head, lift, lift, lift through the hip creases, pull those elbows in. At the end of your next exhale, let's walk it back, hands under shoulders. If you need to use the blocks, do so. Before we come up, we're just going to firm those hips in again because we've probably let them go. Hands to hips, inhale, up we come. Step or jump, feet together. Hoo, hoo, hoo. Jolly good. Right, blocks to the top of the mat. We finish with the external poses. We've just done a little bit of a hip release, so we'll get into some neutrally rotated poses. So blocks to the top of the mat. What we're going to do, we're not going to use them quite yet, so I'm just going to put them to the side for the time being. Okay, so I'm standing now, feet slightly apart, sides of the feet parallel, like Tadasana, but hip width. We're going to step back, not quite as far as we step back for the lunge, but about a leg's length between our feet. And again, it's maintaining the hip width. So I've probably got about 4 inches between the insides of my feet. My right foot that has stepped back is pointing 45 degrees out to the right. My left foot is pointing forwards. Now I need to get the pelvis into the right position. My right foot stepping back has rotated my pelvis to the right, so I'm going to pull the left hip crease back with my left hand. I'm going to rotate this right thigh inwards. So it's the opposite to the rotation we were just cueing ourselves. We're inwardly rotating that right leg. Can you feel what that does to the hip? Ready? Watch the internal rotation, and it sets the pelvis forwards, as well as pulling that left hip crease back. Now then, drop the hands by the sides. We're going to inhale, reach through the fingertips, straight arms, these same cues, pulling the elbows in, reaching through the fingertips. Then we're going to exhale and bend that front knee, and bring the torso straight down, reaching back into the right heel as we bend the left knee. Keep an eye on that left knee, maybe creep the left foot forward slightly to keep that knee behind the ankle. And remember where this is for when we do the other side. I've just made an adjustment, so I need to redo my foundation. Internal rotation of that right leg, pull that left hip crease back, find space here in between the thigh and the torso. At the end of your next exhale, straighten the leg, straighten the left leg. Now we're going to, I should have left the blocks where they were because I want to hinge over that front leg, pick up the blocks. Same as we were doing, hands under shoulders, fingers wrapping around the block so I can traction, pull my sternum forwards in the direction my left toes are pointing. Same cues we were just working with, internal rotation of the back leg, pull that left hip crease back, suck that left femur bone up into that socket as you use the traction to move the sternum forward. Look straight down. As your body softens, maybe you can lower the blocks. If you get far enough, maybe you can come to fingertips. Try and find even weight. I just had to make an adjustment there to find more weight in my back foot, which has allowed me to find a little more fold. At the end of your next exhale, either come to fingertips or back on blocks. Stabilize, hands on hips, bend the knee, up we come. Step the left foot forward. Sorry, step the right foot forward. Okay. Oh, remember where that foot was. I know I need to go wider for this side. So we're going to repeat with the left foot stepping back to a similar distance to where the right was. And here we go. Remember those cues. So left foot facing 45 degrees out to the left, right foot toes straight down the mat. Pull that right hip back with the right hand. Strong internal rotation of that left thigh. Relax the shoulders, fingertips pointing straight down. Inhale, reach through the fingertips, arms up. Exhale, bend into that right knee. Torso straight down. Find the outside edge of that back foot. Check your right knee isn't in front of your left. How can it be? In front of your right ankle. Breathe, go deeper. Get that right thigh parallel to the floor if you can, while maintaining the outside edge of that left foot. It's a struggle. Those hips want to twist, pull them back. Suck that left. Suck that right femur bone in. Strong internal rotation. The left leg. One more breath here. And straighten the leg. Bend at the hip. Pick up those blocks. Fingertips around the front edge, tractioning on. We've made a movement. Let's check our foundation. Pull that right femur bone up into the hip socket. Strong internal rotation of the left leg. Find the outside edge of that left foot. Pull the sternum forwards, looking straight down, keeping the back long. Maybe you can go lower on your blocks. Maybe you just want to stay where you are. It's both good. Just recheck your foundation. Pull that right femur bone up. Internal rotation. Can you find a bit more room? Not as much room as the other side, actually, for me. That's interesting to notice these things. So I'm going to try a big stance. At the end of your next exhale, come up onto the fingertips or blocks. Slight bend of the knee, hands to hips, and forwards we step. Back to the front of the mat. Okay, time is marching on. So let's come down to the mat. Sit on the mat for our seated sequence. Dandasana. Staff pose, the blueprint for the seated poses. Backs of the legs pushing down to the floor, strongly flexed ankles, trying to have the soles of the feet on the same plane, not sickling. You see what I'm doing with my palms? We want them flat on that same imaginary plane that's running 90 degrees to the plane of the floor we're sitting on. Push through those heels. Tadasana cues now from the waist up. Lift the torso out of the pelvis. Lift the upper ribs away from the torso. Roll the shoulders back and down, broad across the collarbones, space in the neck. Palms flat on the floor if you can, or use blocks to reach if you need. Push into the palms, push into the heels. Lift that sternum broad across the collarbones. 90 degrees our body's in. Inhale there, exhale. The only thing that moves is the chin towards the collarbones. Everything else stays the same. 5 breaths here. Quads on fire, push those heels. Bring the toes back to the shins. Imagine I'm standing behind you with my leg up your spine, pulling those collarbones back. Lift the sternum, push the heels. Okay, at the end of your next exhale, relax. We'll get into a seated twist. So we're going to cross the left foot over the right knee. Left foot flat on the ground. So it's the left foot over. So the left arm is our kickstand, our prop. The heel of the palm is coming right behind our sacrum so that we can push that up. Can you see what's happening there with my left shoulder? It's straightening my spine. We're going to engage that right foot, flex into that ankle like we were just doing. Bring the right arm up to push the elbow to the outside of the left knee. Maybe we rounded our back a little to do that movement. So we're just going to push into the left hand again to bring ourselves facing forwards. Just check our spine is straight before we twist it. Push into that right heel again on the inhale. Exhale, use the abdominal muscles like we did earlier. Less traction on the hands, use the abs. Exhale, rotate. That left shoulder's rolling open, those left ribs are pulling in towards the spine. Inhale here, grow long, pull that chin in. Now we bring the traction in. Slight bend in the left elbow, pushing on the right elbow against the left knee to traction and try to keep the head in line with the shoulders for the second. And then on the final, inhale, we exhale again and finish the pose with the gaze over our left shoulder. And then we unwind it gently, gently. Back to center. Take the left leg back out straight. Right foot crosses over to place next to the left knee. This adjustment you'll have to figure out for yourselves on your own body proportions. Maybe it's further towards your foot, maybe it's further back, but we're trying to get the inside edge of this foot flat. And we're trying to have our sit bones both on the mat so that we're not bending, we're not twisting a bent spine. So right arm over, right leg over means right arm is the kickstand, bringing that behind us to support us. Left elbow comes outside the right knee. I've rounded my back to do that. I've got a slight twist going on, so I'm going to push into my right arm to bring that left shoulder a little bit more round to the front. Straighten that spine before we start twisting it. Push into the left heel. Inhale. Use the abdominal muscles on the first one. Active mobility. Exhale, twist. Inhale when you've reached your limit. Pull those right ribs in. Push into the right hand. Now we're going to use the traction of the left elbow on the right knee. Slight bend of the right elbow to pull ourselves round. Last one. Breath's getting difficult now. Inhale, grow the spine long. Exhale, finish the twist with a look over the right shoulder. Gently unwind. Okay, here we go. Let's get into the back bend sequence. I'm going to use 2 blocks for my back bend lifts. You guys know where you are. Take your time. We're going to go in 3 lifts. And then we're going to go freestyle. Afterwards, we're going to do 3 lifts, then come down to the mat and have a rest. And then we're going to go again with no lift. So let's just establish what we're going to do without any lift. So we're kind of in a Shavasana pose here, only our palms are flat down on the mat. We're lying on our back, palms flat down. My feet are rolling open. So I'm going to bring them together. bring my feet in, close to my buttocks. Feet hip width, knees hip width. When we're doing this, we don't want the knees to open. We want to try and maintain that leg position, parallel. Each leg is parallel to the other. The shins, the thighs, and the hip width apart. Let's engage. Push into the soles of the feet. Try to find the 3 points, the big toe mound, the little toe mound, the heel. Put weight into all of those. Gently, gently, gently. Now, palms flat on the ground. Let's push into the upper arms, trying to get the upper arms onto the mat. I feel what that does to your shoulders and your chest. That's opening the chest. We're trying to push the shoulder heads towards the ground, open the chest. This is what we're aiming for here. That's going to help us in our back bend. Now we're going to just rock the pelvis. This is how we're going to initiate the lift. Lift the sit bone towards the ceiling, lift the pubic bone towards the ceiling, and then push it back towards the mat. So the lift comes from the lifting towards the ceiling. And when we come down, we're going to start with a lift and then roll the sacrum down onto the mat. So we don't come down with a bang. Okay, here we go. We're going to go for our first height. For me, it's 2 blocks on height 1. Choose what your first height is. Now we're going to initiate that lift. Palms flat. Roll the pubic bone towards the ceiling. Lift. Remember those 3 points of contact on the feet, equal weight bearing there. Find the blocks under your sacrum, not the back. So we don't want to be touching any spine here. You want this under the sacrum, a good solid foundation. Look at that, going nowhere. Palms flat on the floor. Push those upper arms down. Maybe snuggle the shoulders. So roll to the left, pull the right shoulder under, roll to the right, pull the left shoulder under. Here we are. You can experiment here, straightening the left leg and pushing the left heel. If that's okay, maybe you can take the right to join it. If that's too much, alternate the legs. Legs hip width, pushing into a flexed ankle to get into the hamstrings here. Breathe. The breath that we did earlier, long and slow. Feeling and emptying. Noticing the tension. Bring your attention inside what's going on. Where is there tightness? I'm starting to get pins and needles in my left toes. Push into the upper arms. Open that chest. There you go. That slightly changes things, right? We're more engaged. At the end of your next exhale, if your legs are out straight, bring them in, heels close to bottom. Legs hip width again. We just rest here a moment. We're going to go for the second height. Now for me, I'm going to flip one of my blocks onto height 2, the top block. Here we go, inhale, lift that pubic bone towards the ceiling to initiate the lift. Get the hips off your foundation and then take your time to build that solid foundation again. Make sure if you're flipping your block, you haven't fallen off the edge of the bottom one. There you go, that's nice and solid. Before I go doing anything precarious, I want to know I can trust that foundation. Always build from a foundation of solidity, otherwise we're in danger of collapse. Okay, palms flat on the floor again, finding that outer edges of those upper arms, push them down. In fact, I'm going to go now to palms facing each other, reach through the fingertips, got a bigger lift now. So to get more chest opening, bring those palms to face each other, strong karate chop hands. Again, Starting with the left leg, take that out, pushing through the heel. If that's okay, maybe take the right to join it. If that's not okay, alternate your legs equally each side. A couple of breaths here and a couple of breaths there. Then be here. Again, notice what's going on. At the end of your next exhale, if your legs are out straight, bring them in. Same thing. We're going to go to our third and final height. Now for me, I need to go on my tiptoes here, so I'm going to bring my legs in a little further and prepare for a tiptoe lift. Here we go, on the inhale, lift with that pubic bone, flip that block to wherever it is you're going with it. What's going on for me? That's got to come back quite substantially. There we go. Yep. Highest lift. Before we straighten the legs, let's just establish what's going on with our upper body. Outer edges of the upper arms pushing into the mat. Those strong, engaged hands, palms facing each other, reaching energy through the fingertips. Shoulder heads pushing into the ground. Sternum lifting towards the chin already. I'm going to straighten the left leg. That's already a big stretch. Straighten the right leg. You can hear my breath becoming more restricted. My shoulders have gone light. This is indeed a big back bend for me. Breathe into it. Surrender. Let gravity do its work. This is passive mobility. We're not using our muscles to get into this. We're using the weight of our body and the gravitational pull of the earth to help us feel amazing. Okay, at the end of your next exhale, bring the feet in preparation for removing our stack of props. Take your time. This can be a delicate maneuver. We're tiring a bit now. Lift, take the blocks out, and gently with that pubic bone lifting as we bring our sacrum to the mat. Nice and gently, being kind to ourselves. Let's just take a moment here before we go into bridge. If I could remember the Sanskrit script for bridge, I would tell you, but it eludes me right now. Okay, here we go. So, bring the heels in close to the bottom, feet hip width. The legs are going to stay parallel, hip width all the way down through the thighs and the shins. The moment we've got the palms flat on the floor, we're going to push into the outer edges of our upper arms as we Tilt that pelvis backwards, lift the pubic bone towards our chin. That starts to lift, lifting the pelvis up. Once we've got enough room underneath us, we clasp our fingers, pull the elbows together, lean to the left, rock that right shoulder under, lean to the right, rock the left shoulder under. Do it again. Each side, bring those wrists together, push into the 3 points of the feet, lift the pelvis strongly, pull the sternum towards the chin. 5 breaths here. Keep lifting. And gently, with a lift of that pubic bone to take care of the descent, we'll bring it back to the mat, untuck those shoulders. Just take a minute here. Bring the feet mat width, knees bent, arms out, cactus arms. So that's out like a goalpost or a cactus, whichever you're familiar with. And we're just going to gently twist by rocking the knees over towards the left, not necessarily pushing them towards the floor, just letting gravity take them as far as they go. Keeping the shoulders on the mat. So this twist is coming into the back, the lower back. And we're going to come over to the right side with the knees. Same thing. Now we're going to move with the breath. Inhale through the center, exhale, drop the knees to the left. Push gently. Inhale up through the center, drop them to the right. Push ever so gently, keeping those shoulders on the mat. 2 more times. Inhale and over to the left, a gentle push. Inhale over to the right. Sorry, inhale to the middle, exhale to the right, gentle push. Inhale to the middle, exhale to the left. Inhale to the middle, exhale to the left. Okay, we'll finish this off. We're bringing the knees to the chest. Hands wrapped around the shins. Pull those knees into the collarbone. Try and keep the sacrum on the mat for the first one. Pull that in, and then we'll round the back. So pull the knees up to the chest this time. Round the back. Gently roll left to right. Pushing off with the elbows. Let me see what the time is. You guys stay there. Yes, it's Shavasana time. So stretch yourself out long. You know the drill. This is where we stimulate all that movement, all that stretching. We've asked our body to do. We've asked our body to do a lot this last hour. Now we're going to ask it to do nothing. We're going to teach it to do nothing. So let's lift the left heel and reach out through it. Place the left leg down. Lift the right leg. Reach through the right heel. Place it down. Just going to curl my spine off. Reach back. Grind myself long. Now I just want to take those little skin pinches out of my back body. Let my legs roll up. Gently external rotation as my feet flop out to the side. I'm going to just remind my shoulders to open. I'm going to bang my right shoulder and my left shoulder against the floor. Open my palms to the ceiling. External rotation of those arms to help those shoulders open. Get that chest open, let that breath in. We're going to do a big inhale and exhale lion's breath 3 times. And are you ready? Inhale until you nearly pop. long exhale, mouth wide, tongue out. Almost like a Maori doing a haka. Inhale. Last one. And now we gently let go with the breath. Re-establish the symmetry that we had before we just did that. Powerful movement. Find our symmetry, find our peace. Rock our head gently from side to side. And just when we think we're at our most comfortable, we'll try and make ourselves 10% more comfortable. Whatever you need to do it now. Because we're going to let go. Just be here, be present, but let go. Relax. We'll just do a rotation of awareness. Yoga Nidra. The toes and the feet are relaxed. The arches, the ankles, the shins, and the calves are relaxed. The knees and the thighs and the hips are relaxed. Fingers are gently curling. The backs of the hands and the palms and the wrists are relaxed. The forearms, elbows, upper arms and shoulders are all relaxed. The pelvic floor, your groins, your abdomen and your lower back are relaxed. Your mid back, your side ribs, your upper back, the base of your neck, your throat are all relaxed. Relax the root of your tongue. Relax the nape of your neck. Relax the point where your neck joins your skull. Relax your jaw. Relax your teeth, your tongue. Let it fall back in your mouth. Relax your lips. Cheeks are soft. Nostrils are relaxed. The muscle around your eyes are relaxed. Your temples are descending towards the floor. Your eyebrows are relaxed. Your brow is relaxed. Take the creases out of the crown of your head. Open your inner ear. Thoughts will come. Observe them. Let them waft away. Be there. You've earned it. Let your breath deepen. Let the breath bring life back to your body. Gently does it in your own time. Wriggle the fingers and toes. On an inhale, take a full body stretch. And on the exhale, bring your knees into your chest and hug them. Then roll over to your side, look down, push up with the palms. Head comes up last to take care of your neck. Meet me in an easy position, hands in prayer, to give thanks to ourselves for taking the time to practice, and for those that went before us to develop this practice. Thank you.